Imagine this scene. It's Friday afternoon, you are exhausted. All you want is to get home, take off your shoes, and not talk to anyone. Suddenly, your phone rings. It's a friend, a relative, or that coworker who always has some drama. They ask for a favor, one of those things that will steal 3 hours of your rest. You feel a knot in your stomach. Your body is screaming at you to say no. But before you even realize it, you hear your own voice saying, "Sure, don't worry, I'll help you." Does that sound familiar? Welcome to the Nice People Club. Those people who are always there, who never say no, who avoid conflict at all costs, and who are the emotional glue of their entire circle. At first glance, it seems like a noble virtue, right? The world needs good people. But let me ask you an uncomfortable question. At what price are you being so nice? Because there is a massive difference between being a kind person and being a people pleaser. If your kindness is born out of fear of rejection, the inability to set boundaries, or a desperate need for approval, you aren't being good, you're being a hostage to your own niceness. Today, we're going to discover why that good person badge you wear on your chest is becoming an armor that suffocates you. What happens to your brain when you say yes while wanting to say no, and how to reclaim your life without becoming a villain. Let's lay the cards on the table. Being too nice is in reality a defense strategy. In psychology, this is sometimes known as fawning, or the please and appease response. We all know the classic stress responses: fight, flight, or freeze. But there is a fourth one: fawning. Why does this happen? Because for our primitive brain, social rejection is equivalent to death. Thousands of years ago, if the tribe kicked you out, you died of hunger or were eaten by a predator. That's why we developed a hypersensitive radar to detect the discontent of others. If you like me, you won't attack me. If I am useful to you, you won't abandon me. The problem is that we've moved that survival mechanism from the savannah to our office, our partners, and our friends. You've turned kindness into a life insurance policy, but it's a policy you pay for with your own energy, your time, and your mental health. Have you noticed that the more you give, the more tired you feel, but the less valued you are? It's the paradox of people-pleasing. When you teach others that your price is zero, they stop seeing your help as a gift and start seeing it as an obligation. It's not that they are bad people, it's that you've erased your own border. And a country without borders is not a free country, it's an invaded territory. Let's go down to the lab for a moment. What happens in your head when you are too nice? Our brain has a region called the anterior cingulate cortex. Think of it as a conflict alarm. When your internal needs, like resting, clash with external demands, like helping someone else, this alarm goes off. It produces a feeling of discomfort and friction. To turn off that alarm, you have two options. One, set a limit and face an external conflict, or two, betray yourself and accept an internal conflict. The nice person almost always chooses the second option. Why? Because external conflict triggers a wave of cortisol, the stress hormone, which feels unbearable. They fear the face of disappointment or the heavy silence. So, to get a quick hit of dopamine and relief, they give in. But here's the biological trick. Every time you say yes out of fear, you're reinforcing a neural pathway that says, "My needs don't matter." Then there's the allostatic load. When you live to please, your body is in a constant state of high alert, scanning the needs of others. This keeps your cortisol levels chronically high. Do you know what that causes? Chronic fatigue, digestive issues, insomnia, and an irritability you hide under the rug until one day you explode over something tiny. You didn't suddenly become mean, it's just that your nervous system has reached its limit. You've been buying external peace with an internal war, and you've run out of funds. I know what you're thinking. Okay, I get it, but if I start saying no, I'll end up alone. I won't lie to you, some people will leave, but the people who leave are those who didn't love you, they loved your utility. And that, as much as it hurts, is a necessary cleaning. Here's an action plan to stop being the world's doormat. First, apply the 24-hour rule. If you're an impulsive pleaser, your yes comes automatically. You don't think. So from now on, your go-to phrase is, "Let me check my schedule and I'll get back to you in a bit." This gives your amygdala time to calm down so you can evaluate logically if you actually want and can do it. Second, differentiate between can and want. We often say "I can't" as an excuse. The problem is, if the other person finds out it wasn't true, you feel guilty. Start using the language of will. "Thanks for thinking of me, but this time I've decided to rest." It's honest and it's powerful. Third, use the no sandwich. Validate first, "I understand this project is important to you," then set the direct limit, "but I won't be able to take on this part." And end with a positive wish. "I hope you find someone soon." No excessive apologies, because apologies smell like guilt and attract manipulators. And fourth, tolerate the guilt hangover. The first time you set a limit, you're going to feel terrible. That guilt isn't a sign you did something wrong, it's a symptom that you're breaking an old habit. Sit with that guilt and let it pass like a storm. Don't give in just to ease your discomfort. Before we move on, I want to make an important point. If you're a highly sensitive person, this path is harder for you. Your system processes others' disappointment with much higher intensity. You're not weak, it's just that your emotional mirror is giant. For you, setting limits is a matter of sensory survival. Or if you have ADHD, sometimes impulsivity makes you say yes to 1,000 commitments because you get excited in the moment, and only later do you realize the weight you've accepted. In both cases, the autocompasión is your best tool. Don't punish yourself for having been too nice. Understand that your brain is designed to connect, and that's beautiful. We just need to put a fence around the garden so people don't trample the flowers. I want you to take a weight off your shoulders right now. There's a very toxic belief that tells us our value as humans depends on how much we do for others, that if we're not useful, we're not valuable. That is a lie. You are valuable simply because you exist, for your laugh, for the way you see the world, for your silences. You're not a charity or a rehab center for people who don't want to change. You are nobody's emotional dumping ground. Being a truly good person requires first being an honest person with yourself. True kindness requires discernment. If you give from an empty place, what you give is full of hidden resentment. If you give from abundance because you truly want and can, that is pure light. Learning to say no is in reality learning to say yes to yourself. And saying yes to yourself isn't selfish, it's justice. Let's recap what we learned today. Being the official nice person of the group is draining you because it's a fear-based survival strategy. We've seen that your brain suffers when you betray yourself, and that setting limits is the only way to have healthy, lasting relationships. Starting today, I invite you to an experiment. Say one small no this week, a no that doesn't have catastrophic consequences. See what happens. You'll realize the world doesn't end. The people who truly love you stay, and suddenly you have more room to breathe. If this content brought you some light, please give the video a big like, subscribe to the channel, and share this message with someone you know needs to hear it. Don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss anything coming here at PsycHoVerse. Remember, the world doesn't need more people pleasers. The world needs whole, honest people who respect themselves. Thanks for being there and for letting me join you on this journey inward. See you in the next video. No filters, with a scientific base, with a lot of humanity.